And there it is. Short but sweet.
You know that style back then where they didn't really have the choruses, they just had
Yeah.
a.
Yeah.
I
Folks.
think that's what that was, and what was amazing is that it was there was so much passion and the harm in their performance, and the harmonies were so beautiful together. They worked together like one. They completely moved like a well-oiled machine,
Yes.
and the passion did come through. I think Gail mentioned it, and I never really knew. I didn't really understand their. I didn't understand years ago their contribution to how important their contribution to music was. I still kind of feel more of it is because they covered other people's tunes and made those people successful, but they always get referred back to in things that I read about. Well, you know, Peter, Paul, and Mary helped, like John Denver, his uh, jet leaving on a jet plane song. They did that song and it took off, and it's like they were just so important in that way for um, covering everybody else's tunes that they made them their own, is what it felt like when I would see them. I didn't see them a lot. I mean, I was much younger, but seeing them now, even now, I think your question again was, well, what makes it so popular and successful? And I think it's just that they make the songs their own, and the passion and the um, gorgeous, gorgeous harmonies. And that's my input on that.
Yeah, and absolutely. And they were at the burgeoning of the political aspect. I mean, in 1963, when at their Martin Luther's "Have a Dream, I Have a Dream" speech,
Yeah.
they performed this song and "Blowing in the Wind" at the March on Washington. And
They performed in a lot of events.
exactly, but this one in particular was, a very seminal moment because of all the things that happened later. And I mean, their version of "Blowing in the Wind" was one of their biggest hit singles, other than "Puff the Magic Dragon," which actually Peter Yarrow wrote in conjunction with. He wrote the music to, I think it was a poem by one of his friends, and so um, their renditions of some of Bob Dylan's songs,
Right.
like "Don't Think Twice, It's All Right," helped
Yes.
Dylan's album go up the charts.
They put him on the charts too. Sure. They
Exactly.
popularized. They really broadcast a lot of up and coming writers, and they made them successful.
Yeah, and "Leaving on a Jet Plane" was their only number one hit.
Ah,
So they did a favor to John Denver,
Yeah.
basically, because they were friends. And there's all sorts of of things that they did throughout their career that helped solidify and other people's careers as well. And I think one of the best examples of Mary Travis's uh, beautiful, beautiful, warm voice is 500 Miles, and also their "Leaving on a Jet," her version of "Leaving on a Jet Plane." Those are the two songs that really highlight her, and not just their beautiful harmonies and everything like that, but uh, just her passion. And I think those two are real important songs from her.
when Dave mentioned um, that both of those gentlemen were performers in their own right, um, I sang a song when I was, um, I think I was 14, that my sister wanted sung at her wedding. And Peter Yarrow, and who was the other one? What's his name? Does anybody
Oh,
remember? Who was
Paul
it?
Stuckey.
Paul Stuckey.
That's the one. He wrote a song called Something like "There Is Love," or
Yes, it's
I
called
think it's
There
called
Is
this.
Love.
There Is Love.
It was called The Wedding Song, and There Is Love.
The yeah, beautiful song, and I learned how to play it, and I played it for her wedding, and so I didn't even realize at that time that he was part of Peter, Paul, and Mary, because I think when Gail brought up Puff the Magic Dragon, that brought back memories. That's I think my first recollection of the names of Peter, Paul, and Mary being the singers of that song, because I was quite young. But I think that um, the older I've gotten, and have read so many different things in music, I kind of still stand by the fact that their importance is extremely significant because of how many other groups they influenced and helped up their career by covering those tunes and making it their own.
It's
We
interesting that you talked about the wedding song because Stookie actually wrote that as a present for when Peter married Eugene McCarthy's niece.
Oh
The,
my goodness!
yeah, and so that that became a huge thing. I mean, it's like weddings galore. That song it still gets used, and Sheila Clark also recorded that. I think I don't remember.
It was great.
well, we've been
Wow.
studying how the early 60s were more pop and the later 60s became so much more political and protest. And Peter, Paul, and Mary were part of the catalyst that opened the doors for the second half of the 60s.
Absolutely.
And because obviously some of those songs were written in the 50s, Pete Seeger and stuff, but nevertheless, that was they furthered that and they furthered that goal, and they continued to do a lot of protest songs, and they were invited at all sorts of marches and all sorts of political gatherings. Um, I didn't study, but I wouldn't be surprised if they weren't asked to go to the White House and perform, because that's the type of thing that they would do. They were the voice of the generation that was acceptable to the mainstream.
Exactly. Exactly. Because, clean cut, white,
Right.
non-threatening when you just look at them. But the minute they open their mouths, uh-oh, you know,
Yeah, they,
Well,
they they didn't mince any words. They
no, not at
got
all.
right to the point, but they presented it with a smile, and they presented it in a non-threatening way.
but it's interesting that if they were put together by, let's say, a producer and said, okay, let's put this one and this one and this one together, perform a trio, form a trio, then how I guess their politics turned out to be very similar, or they
Right,
wouldn't be choosing those songs to play
right.
and do them so credibly. And I love that. Whoever said that the presentation of it being not confrontation or conform whatever, because you look at them, there's no way you would think they would be doing protest songs.
They look suburban. They
Their
look,
persona, it doesn't look like it. And then when they come out, you say, "Oh wow, yeah." It was interesting, that aspect of it.
Mhm.
well, we're going to move on. I could have
Okay.
put more of their songs, but I wanted to feature more Joan Baez uh, and Judy Collins, where we're going next. So I'm going to start with Joan Baez, and we're going to listen to where she's taking that same momentum, where she's at a gathering and she's leading people in song. And I got several songs of hers. Uh, I was a fan of hers. I remember buying the Joan Baez songbook, and I
Oh, I
listened
got
to a
that one.
lot of folk songs out of it.
Yep. And she gave credit to the ones that were not traditional folk, unlike a lot
Yes,
of other folk singers who thought they were not copyright protected and did them anyway, like Led Zeppelin, um, and such. And she gave credit to all of them. And, so she was very much about credit where credit was due.
She had a
And,
lot of integrity.
and very much so. I
Yeah.
saw her when I was 16 or 17, I think. The tickets were $3 because she wouldn't let
It would
the
let
promoters
stop them. Yeah.
she wouldn't let the promoters charge
Yeah.
the going rate. She said she wanted people to be able to afford to come, and we did.
All right. Here she is doing We Shall Overcome. I mean, it's almost a cliche these days, but this is where it started. And boy, this was sung at every rally, every protest. It was, again, we're talking the top 5 songs of the 60s.